I'm showing you how I edit my videos, and then we're gonna edit my very last Disney vlog together. Hi, if you're new to my channel, my name is Katie. I make lots of Disney and home vlogs, so if that's your kind of thing, make sure you subscribe. But I got a few questions about how I edit my vlogs, and specifically my Disney vlogs, and I will say they are probably the hardest videos to edit, just because there's a lot of external factors that make your footage shaky, and the sound is really off, and you can't really hear anything, and there's people yelling, and all sorts of stuff. So I think it'll be good to show you how I edit a Disney vlog, because they definitely take me the longest and they're definitely the hardest. If you're new to my channel, I'll link my vlog playlist above of my most recent Disney trip. So by the time this video goes up, we'll be done with those vlogs because we're editing the very last one today. I truly get so excited to sit down and edit the vlogs. I feel like it makes my trip feel like it lasts so much longer because I get to relive it all through editing the vlogs. And honestly, by the time I get to the last one, there's a lot of things I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't remember that. It's already been a month since I got back from Disney. So by the time I edit all the vlogs, it's like I get to relive it all over again. So it's really fun. So I'm really excited to sit down and edit this video. I do like to do it on my day off. It's Saturday and I have all day to edit this video, and it's probably gonna take all day because it's 10 o'clock already and I haven't even had a coffee. So that's gonna be the first step, but we're probably gonna be at this all day. So grab a cozy drink and let's get into my setup and my software and how I edit my vlogs. Okay, so I've got my latte. I just took a couple thumbnail pictures, and the thumbnail pictures are probably the hardest part of editing and making a video for me. I love the filming, the editing, but taking the thumbnail pictures is just not my forte. So anytime you see a good thumbnail from me, just know that it took a lot of effort and give it some love. So I've got my coffee. I made a peppermint vanilla latte, and I can already tell I'm starting to lose my voice. So I'm sure it's just gonna go downhill throughout this video, but I lose my voice so easily, and the fact that I didn't have any coffee this morning I think is what got me. Let's get into kind of my setup and my editing software and everything that I've been using to edit these Disney vlogs. So a moment for my desk setup because I am obsessed with it. I did a video a couple videos back about redoing my desk, so if you're interested I'll link that above. But basically I have this Mac that I've been editing my vlogs on. I do have a MacBook Air that's really old and I just don't think it would handle the 4K footage that's coming out of my camera now. So I have this Mac. It's a 2021 Mac. I forget which one it is exactly, but I'll link it in the description for you. And then I use this external hard drive to put all my videos on. I also put all the playlists and the libraries, which I'll show you, of the editing software so that the files don't gunk up your computer. So I edit everything on this external hard drive, which I'll link in the description as well for you. But that's kind of my setup. I spent a lot of time here, so I'm really happy with how it turned out. Just a little bit of background about my editing and kind of my history with editing. So I've always used iMovie for everything coming out of my G7X. So my Canon G7X, which is what I'm filming on right now, it only films in 1080p. But for this last Disney trip, I got a new camera called the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And one of the biggest things I was excited about was being able to film in 4K. And while iMovie is able to edit in 4K, it was not working out well. So if you see a glitch on any of my early Disney vlogs, no you didn't, because when I was editing in iMovie, it just wasn't working. And one of the vlogs went up and I didn't even notice there was a glitch until I already uploaded it, so I was like, whatever, it's too late. Basically, that's been a huge issue with this series because I'm now editing in 4K. iMovie just couldn't handle it. It was the exporting process. It was putting a glitch on my video, and it was a glitch in a different place every time. There was no way for me to edit the settings of the exporting that was gonna fix it. So basically, I started using Final Cut Pro for this Disney series, and I definitely haven't explored like any of the features that it offers that are better than iMovie. But basically, I've been editing in Final Cut Pro, but everything I'm doing, you can absolutely do in iMovie. So let's get into kind of my setup, how I set up my files, things like that. So I have my external hard drive plugged in, and I do highly recommend this one. It's really big. It's like a terabyte or something crazy. So here's where I store all my files, my completed videos. I basically back everything up on this hard drive and leave it on the SD card until I'm done uploading that specific video. So for example, all my Disney vlogs are still on the SD cards. Once I'm done with that series, I will delete them from the SD cards and kind of clear them out. But for now, they're all in this folder. So today we're editing day 4, which is my last Disney vlog. We did 3 parks in one day, so it should be super chaotic and fun. So here's all the files from my Osmo Pocket 3. And as you can see, there's quite a few few files. There's a ton of files. So it's gonna be a really long vlog, hopefully. So I put the library, you can do this with iMovie as well, and you'll see these are all my iMovie libraries. So I put the libraries on here so that every time you open this library from the external hard drive, all the rendered files and like random small files that are being created while you're editing, they're being put on your hard drive and not your computer. So it's warning me because I'm doing a free trial. Yes, I'm gonna continue the free trial. And now I need to open a new library. So you can see right here, we're gonna click new project and we're gonna name it Disney Day 4. And as you can see, there's no other projects because I delete everything out and I clear all what's called rendered files. After the project is done and uploaded to YouTube, I delete everything so that I have extra room on my computer. Otherwise, it will slow down your editing software basically. And we're gonna start dragging and dropping our clips in. So kind of my first step is always to just start dragging and dropping the files. So basically, I'm gonna start by going back into that folder where I had all my files from Disney Day 4. And I'm gonna start dragging them into Final Cut Pro. And I just kind of do like some rough edits. I don't drag them all in at once and then go through and edit because I feel like it's a little bit overwhelming. I always like to do one clip at a time. So I'll drag in the first clip, just the intro clip, and then I'll chop it up as I need to. And then I'll drag in the next clip, and then I just go on and on and on through. I don't go back, I don't add music. I do all that later. So I'm just doing like rough cuts. So we're gonna start doing that until we get all the way through the video. So this is kind of the heavy lifting, the part that takes the longest. So let's time how long this takes because I actually don't know. And normally I do a lot of editing while I'm doing other things like laundry, but today we are just sitting down, we're getting this vlog done. So it is 10:47. So we're gonna see how long it takes to get through the rough edits. As I'm going through and making my rough edits, I have thought of some tips that I don't want to forget, so I'm going to share them. If you are new to video editing, the first thing you need to figure out is keyboard shortcuts for clipping your clips. So basically, as I'm going through, I'm clipping the clip in two places. So I'm pressing, for me, Command B, I think, Command B, and it splits the clip, and then I go to another place, I split the clip again, and then I'm deleting the middle clip, if that makes sense. And that's how I'm kind of chopping it up. So first and foremost, definitely learn your keyboard shortcuts because it makes your life a whole lot easier than having to right click and say split and right click and say delete and things like that. So that makes your life a lot easier. Another tip is I am not just looking with these rough edits, I'm not just looking at the video itself, but I'm also listening to the sound. Because pro tip, if you have a clip of your video that you like, but someone is screaming in the background, which happens all the time at Disney, so I've gotten really, really good at this, you can kind of like do a little sorcery and take the audio from the second part of the clip. Like let's say the first half of the clip is the clip that you like. That's the clip that is like aesthetically, visually the most pleasing. You take the sound from the second half of the clip, you detach it, and then you move it over to that first part. So when I'm doing these rough edits, I'm not only looking at the visuals, I'm also listening to the audio as I go. Speaking of the audio, I already did this clip, but I'm gonna do it again just so I can show you. When I'm going through and doing these rough edits, it's a lot easier to figure out where you need to clip it if you look at the audio levels on the clip itself. So for example, this is my little chaotic walking and talking clip. So as you can see right here, it's easier to tell where I need to clip it when I'm looking at the audio. So right here is where I start talking. Morning. I do like Final Cut Pro because when you hover, it plays the audio for you, which is really nice. I don't think you can do that in iMovie. As I'm hovering, I can see I need to clip it right here and right here, and then delete. So that's how I'm going through and clipping, especially the talking bits. It's a lot easier to see where you need to cut it if you're looking at the audio itself. If I use any of my other little tricks along the way, I'll definitely stop and show you, but otherwise I'm just gonna continue on with my rough edits. All right, I thought of something else. When I'm filming, a lot of what makes your editing easier and gives you less of a headache is how you film things. I'm pretty much filming everything. I'm filming when the Skyliner pulls up. I'm filming when we're getting onto the Skyliner. I'm filming when we're in the air. I'm filming when we're at the transfer station. I also feel like it helps helps give people an idea of, let's say someone's watching my Disney vlogs, for example, and they've never been to Disney before. If I only film one clip of a Skyliner, I see how that could be confusing because I'm actually getting on 2 Skyliners. I'm not just getting on one to get to Hollywood Studios from Pop Century. I'm filming both, basically, if that makes sense, so that it gives people an idea of how you're actually getting there instead of just being like, we're at Hollywood Studios now. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely do that sometimes, especially if the clips I take don't turn out or I forgot or whatever. That's totally fine too, but I just feel like it gives a sense of them being there with you. So a lot of what makes editing easier is how you film things. I've definitely learned some things over the years that have helped me a lot. So basically taking a lot of clips, especially for B-roll. I like to leave a lot of the real sounds of Disney in, so I do like to have a lot of options as far as which clips and audios I'm gonna use. Keeping all that in mind when you're filming is definitely gonna make your life editing easier. Like I said, Disney vlogs are a lot more complicated than like a sit-down video like this video that I'm gonna be editing, this one that I'm filming right here. So that's why I think it's kind of fun to show you how I edit Disney vlogs, because it's definitely much more complicated. But I'm gonna continue on with my rough edits now. So another thing I do when I do my rough edits is I try to cut as many people out as possible, just because I don't like to film people and put it on the internet. So we're gonna kind of crop it in. So I just go to here and go to crop. I don't know what this trim feature means, but I always do crop so it keeps the perspective in the proper form. So I'm just gonna kind of crop it in a little bit so that his face is not in it. That's better. I do believe Final Cut Pro has a face blur feature, which I haven't had to use yet, but that is nice that it has that feature because it was really hard to blur people's faces in iMovie, which is why I would just kind of crop it out. So I will say that's one thing that's nice about my new camera, the Osmo Pocket 3, is it makes the background super blurry. If I'm walking and talking, if there's people in the background, you really can't see their faces, which is kind of nice, because before with my G7X, it was kind of hard to not include people's faces. That is one thing I like about my new camera. Finally done doing my rough edits. It took me 6 hours, so it's now 4:45, and I think I started this at 10:45. So I did take a couple breaks. I was kind of hanging out with my husband for a little while, ate lunch. I also FaceTimed my mom, so it probably would have taken maybe like 4 or 5 hours if I was like sitting down just focusing on it. But now that I'm just now finished with my rough cuts, I'm at the end of my video. I do normally add in the outro, which I save to my hard drive. So I have a couple things saved that I reuse, like my outro, my Instagram handle. So whenever I say, hi, my name is Katie, and it like pops up, I save that so I don't have to really think about it. I just drag and drop it. And then I also have like a little subscribe. Normally I make a few passes, but I'm trying to be time efficient. So I'm gonna add the outro, and then I'm gonna go back to the beginning, do the intro, and then I'm gonna go through the whole video and add any like click, any noises, any transitions that I want to do. So we'll start with the outro. So I keep those few things I just mentioned in this folder here called YouTube graphics on my hard drive. So I have my outro right here, so I'm literally just going to drag and drop it. So I added that, and now I'm actually going to go back to the beginning of the video, and I'm going to focus on the intro, which usually I do a little bit of a talking bit, and then I'll be like, let's go to Hollywood Studios, and then I'll put the intro in right there. I think the intro is going to go right here. So for my intro, what I do is I go to Canva. I have for my Disney vlogs one ready from my last vlog, so it's really easy. I'll just kind of replace the clips with clips from this vlog. So I usually like to do like a couple aesthetic clips, like of different things, maybe like a food clip, and then I do like to normally do like one of us talking or something, just so that people can kind of see like what they're getting into basically with the vlog. So what I did was I uploaded my intro music that I have been using for my Disney vlogs. I uploaded it into Canva so I can see how long to make each clip, because the reason I'm doing it in Canva and not directly in Final Cut Pro is because I like this little border and then the rounded edges and then the text on screen, which you can do in Final Cut Pro. But when I originally made this, I was doing everything in iMovie, which I don't believe you can do this in iMovie, like shrink your video down and then do a border around it and curve the edges. But since I have this already made, I feel like it's easier to just keep doing it in here. So I uploaded my intro music, so you guys will probably recognize my music here. so that way I know exactly how long to do each clip for. And then when I export the video, I take all the sound out because the original sound of the video, as you could hear the boat going by, is still in there. So I basically just do that so I know how long the clip should be. So I'm gonna replace the clips with ones from this vlog, and then I'll show you how I export it and upload it into Final Cut Pro. Because the videos are 4K, they do take forever to upload into Canva, so I do try to do one at a time or it like freaks out. So I do one clip at a time, and then I usually put in like more clips than I think I'll need. That way I kind of have options and just can drag and drop them and see which one is gonna work the best. And then I had to change the quality to 4K because this is a 4K video that I'm making. Don't want to download pages as separate files. I want it to be all one. And then I'm gonna download it. Now that I have my intro in, I basically just turned the volume all the way down since the original volume of the clips is still in with the intro music. The intro music is really just added to Canva so that I can kind of plan out how long I want the clips to be. So I've added that in, and then I have really been liking this little noise that I got from Epidemic Sound. It sounds like a little projector playing, so I think it's kind of cute to do when my intro starts. So I'm gonna go through and add my intro music. I'm also gonna add any music I want to go over B-roll, as well as make adjustments of transitions and things like that. Sometimes what I'll do during a transition to make it more smooth is, let's say I'm going from B-roll with music over it to me talking, I'll extend the audio of me talking, meaning you'll hear me talking before you'll actually see me, if that makes sense. So we'll do it somewhere and I'll show you what I do, but I'm basically just gonna do another sweep, add all the music, add any sound effects, any on-screen pop-ups I want to have, and I'll do like a little click noise anytime something comes up on the screen. It sounds like a mouse click. I actually couldn't find the perfect mouse click, so when I started my YouTube channel, I made my own mouse click, which I know is super extra. So yeah, you can get kind of fun with the sound effects that you're using and things like that, but I do all of my music from Epidemic Sound, so you pay monthly and then you can use their music royalty free, meaning you can use it in your YouTube videos. That is what I use. Yeah, we'll just do another sweep and we'll add all these fun little extra stuff. In the original rough cut that I do, I leave the B-roll clips extra long so that I can kind of trim them down later. So for example, when I add the music on top, I want to kind of trim the clips down so that it lines up with the beats of the music, if that makes sense. Basically on beat, it'll change to a new clip. I feel like it makes it more cohesive when you're adding sound on top of B-roll. So I never used to do that when I was like first starting out, and I feel like it has made a huge difference in the vlogs. As I'm going through, I'm also making small adjustments to the clips, so I'm especially listening to the sound and the volume. If the volume is super, super high and someone's listening with headphones on like a certain clip, they're gonna turn it up because they can't hear what you're saying, and then it's gonna blast their eardrums out. So I always make sure I'm mindful of that as I'm listening through. Like if any clip is slightly too loud, I'm gonna pay extra attention to adjust the sound so that it's not gonna blast someone's eardrums out. Here is a better example of what I was trying to do before with the voice kind of crossing over into the previous clip. We're going straight for the Jellycats because they were out of a lot of them last time. So I hope that was a better example of what I was talking about before, but basically I make the music kind of fade down, and then if it's going from a B-roll clip to a talking clip, I'll have my voice start before you actually see me. Finally done adding in any like text over the screen and sound effects and music. I'm gonna do one last watch through the entire thing now that I'm basically done, and then I'm gonna export it and upload it to YouTube. Because I had that problem with the glitch, I do now watch the video through after I export it, which I did not used to do, but now I have to because I've had that glitch problem and I didn't know it was there until I already uploaded it and posted it and was watching it back during the live premiere. I was like, oh, there's a glitch on my video. So we're gonna watch it through, export it, watch it again, and then if it looks good, we're gonna upload it to YouTube, and then I'll start working on my thumbnail probably while it's exporting, I'll start working on my thumbnail. 3 parks in one day. And attempted to book a lightning lane for Slinky Dog Dash. So I was having that issue with having a glitch on my video, so I just thought I would show you the settings I used that fixed it for me. So I'm not sure if anyone else out there is having the issue with editing 4K footage in Final Cut Pro, but I'm going to show you exactly what settings I used to export it. So basically you go to File, Export, and then you change the settings here, and I changed it to, instead of the automatic settings that it comes with, which I think is ProRes, this file is going to be 90 gigabytes, so that's just simply not going to work. I leave it on video and audio, and then I change this to H.264, and then it's in 4K. So that's the settings that I use to export, and now it's only 10 gigabytes. So that is what I'm going to export it as, and then I will definitely watch it through just to make sure there's no glitch. So while that exports, I'm going to put some of the photos I have from my trip into Canva. So I actually just open Canva on my phone because I have it on my phone, and then I upload the pictures, and then I'll pull Canva up on the computer so I can actually edit the thumbnail. Sometimes I edit the thumbnails on my phone, but it's definitely easier to do it on a computer. Definitely need to do some more playing around with the thumbnail, but sometimes that takes me a little while to get like exactly how I want it. But for this last vlog series, I'm trying to stick with kind of a similar theme for each thumbnail, but it's just not quite right. I need to work on it some more. Okay, just wanted to show you the final thumbnail, and I think it turned out really cute. I'm actually kind of obsessed. I was getting worried that this one was not going to turn out, but I think this might be my favorite one yet. But that's basically how I edit my videos, so I hope this was helpful for you. Like I said, a few people did ask for it, so if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I know I probably didn't explain everything super well, or you can always send me a DM on Instagram or whatever. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, but I hope this was helpful for you, or at least interesting. But if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out, and I will see you in the next one.